2007, 2008, you didn't have such a dynamic as you do now on the Security Council. You don't have, or rather you did not have all 5 members of BRICS serving in one particular a setting within the Security Council. And this is what makes this time around even much more interesting, if not much more complex, because then, of course, it becomes, it leads to the second issue and the real thrust around, you know, how does South Africa navigate between how its identity in terms of belonging to BRICS, belonging to IPSA as a kind of emerging powers actor on the one hand, and of course the African agenda on the other. And so that navigation between those two spaces, I think, is very critical, because this 2011-2012 tenure means that you're going to be consistently looking at South Africa's role in terms of how does it behave, what does it do, but is it showing alliance and allegiance to its BRIC partners, its emerging powers networks, or is it actually pushing the African agenda? The timing can't be better in terms of a number of issues that have come up in the case of Libya, in the case of Syria, etc. And also, I think not to actually forget that there is a very real issue on the Security Council in terms of expanding the membership of the Security Council and following whether there's an AU consensus of how many members from Africa get onto the Security Council, and whether they are given the veto right in that context.
South Africa has been criticized quite fiercely on positions such as Cote d'Ivoire, 1973, and others. And the moral ethical dimension of South Africa's foreign policy has been questioned and cast in doubt. And it struck me, as I've been listening to all these righteous voices, that actually, if the truth must be told, in international relations, the moral high ground is a vacant plot. And therefore, I wonder what authority people have to be so critical of South Africa's foreign, moral ethical dimension, when in fact, what we're talking about is a vacant plot in moral terms. On Libya, as I was going through Sanusha's discussion document, it also struck me that actually what we may have to accept is that the truth about Libya, the truth about 1973, is much more complex than our preferences.